Start it up. Welcome back to the MBH podcast, Money Buys Happiness. We're here with our good friend and marketer,
personality, influencer.
I was like, let's just give him everything.
Mr. Ramsey, how you doing, bro?
What's up, bro?
Doing great, guys.
Pumped to have you, bro.
Thank you guys so much for having me. I was actually really excited to be here. So
I know we've been trying to get you on. No matter
I know. Finally,
schedules and stuff, but we're happy to
it.
have you, bro. But maybe if we could start, just a little introduction about yourself, maybe just where you're from, how old you are, and stuff like that, and we can get going.
For sure. So I'm Ramsey. Guys, I'm Ramsey. For those who don't know me, I'm 30 years old. I live here in Toronto. I'm a marketer. I do marketing for a company that's based here in Toronto. We're a hospitality and entertainment company called Inc. Entertainment. For the local people, they'll probably know about it. For those who don't, we just have clubs, music festivals, like everything that got shut down. We basically do that. We do that.
One of the biggest in the country as well.
Yeah.
The biggest for sure.
And then actually maybe some of other people might know me from a reality TV show that I did a few years ago, Big Brother Canada.
Yeah.
So that was a fun experience. And I'm a marketer at heart, and that's about it.
I want to kind of go back a bit because I never talked to you about Big Brother really. So I want to know a bit about how that kind of came to life.
Yeah.
And I guess your experience there and how that helped you kind of evolve into marketing, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I don't speak about it because, to be honest, it's like, I was never a big fan of the show. Like, I never knew about it. I never watched it. And someone's like, yo, like, you should go audition for this show. I've always been a very outgoing guy. I've always understood, and you guys, I know both of you talk about this all the time, the power of networking. I kind of understood that very early on in my life. Yeah. So somebody's like, yo, like, you should try out for this show called Big Brother Canada. And for those of you who don't know Big Brother, it's essentially like the show Survivor, but instead of on an island, you're in a house. And people get voted out. The showman says the backstabbing and all that. So I was like, okay, I didn't know. I was like, when should I try out? They're like, it's tomorrow morning. So I was like, okay, like screw it, like let's do this, right? So I go in and I was honest, and like, you go in with like groups of 10, there's hundreds of people, everyone's got like name tags and there's super fans out there and everyone wants to get in. And I was like, hey, let's do this. So I go and they ask you like 2 minutes, why do you want to be on the show? Why do you want to be on the show? And everyone's got their like speech prepared. And I kept it real. And I was like, to be honest, I just found out what this is. I know you could win a lot of money at the end. I would love the money. Super competitive. And I feel like I just have, the charisma and like the athleticism, because there's like physical competitions and stuff to get through this to the end. And so I love it. And I kept it real. Yeah. And one thing led to another. There's like a bunch of auditions. Yeah. Actually, shout out to anyone who just closed auditions for the season coming up yesterday. So shout out to anyone who I tried out. But yeah, there's like 6 interviews. It's very detailed and like it gets into psychological stuff and like, because want to make sure you're not crazy.
Of course.
Yeah, throwing you in a house of people.
Exactly, right? It's wild, man. And one thing led to another, and I found myself on this TV show, like at the end, and like it's you're in this house, you don't get to see anyone from the outside, you don't get to see anyone except for these 17 people you're in with. You go outside a few days a week, and it's like in this little courtyard area where there's like a hot tub and stuff, and like it's just you just get it all happened, and it all happened so quick. And so for me, I kind of knew the premise of the show, and I just was myself. And I think at the end of the show, when I look back now, like it really came through, and that kind of helped me get to how far. So for anyone that doesn't know, so basically I was very unique in my season, and I don't know if even you guys know this, but essentially there's 75 days in the game, I think, if you win the show, right? And so I got to, I think it was day 55. Jeez. So I made it pretty far. And what happened, the only reason I actually left my season was because my father had a pretty serious heart attack. And so it's all online and everything, but they asked me, they're like, what do you want to do? And at first you're like, you guys, you live in this house and like it consumes you. This is all you're doing is gaming, like thinking about how do I advance myself and who should I align myself with. And then so at first I'm like, no, like I'm not gonna leave, my dad's gonna be okay, blah blah blah. But like it was really bad, and eventually I'm like fuck it, like I'm gonna quit, I'm gonna do it. And so I was the first ever contestant to self-evict themselves on the Canadian show. So it got a lot of press, and it got a lot of, and not that I did it for that, but it really was the stepping stone to like who I like, where my character and where my brand went after that show. And so, yeah, I left the show. And I still think I had a great shot at winning. Shout out the Pax Bros who won that season. Yeah. But yeah, that kind of opened up a ton of doors for me and really led me to like my career later on. But you know, we did like a whole, you know, me and like another fan favorite and the winners. We did like a Canada-wide tour, and we were seeing fans all over. That summer, summer 16.
That's a big summer.
That was a big summer.
Huge summer.
And yeah, we did a whole Canada tour and like just meeting fans and stuff. But that summer was a massive eye opener for me. Because
I mean, like, how was that going from like, I don't want to say like a regular guy, but like a regular guy, and now all of a sudden you're touring Canada.
No, you know the expression 15 minutes of fame? You really, it's a thing. Like that summer, like I couldn't go anywhere without people stopping me for photos. Like some kids want signatures.
Crazy.
I go to restaurants, my meals are getting comped. I'm flying, I'm getting bumped to first class.
Are you kidding me?
When I say the range of people who watch Big Brother Canada is like extremely wide, I'm talking like young to old. And the thing about the people who watch it, they are like die-hard fans. You either don't know the show like me, or you know what, or you love it. So you know, it was an amazing experience, but you learn a lot on that show. You know, the things like for me that I take away is like, I was naive in that house, okay? Because I didn't watch the show going, so the game is really built on like lying and scheming and like, and I was going in there believing people. Like I'm just like, in real life, I'm a trustworthy guy. Like I'll judge you based on like the actions that I see. But if you tell me you're gonna meet me somewhere, I'm expecting you to meet me somewhere, right? Not set me up or something. So you know. So many times like my gut would tell me things in that house, and looking back at it, my gut was always right, and I didn't listen to myself in that game because it's like I tell myself, no, like you just find reasons. I feel like in life we always know the answers to our problems, but we let our head get in the way.
100%.
And I found that huge throughout everything, as like being around entrepreneurs, as a marketer, as just like someone who, you know, gets to network a lot with a lot of people. I see that constantly, that people know what the answers to their problems are. It just, they get in their own way, you know? Their head starts thinking like, no, that can't be. And so, you kind of learn about trusting your gut. You learn about the, like, how important it is to adapt and like be able to like find ways to network with people in the house, because your relationships are everything in the Big Brother house.
Definitely. I gotta watch the show, man. Fuck,
it's crazy, man.
I mean, like I know of it. I haven't like actually tuned in. I know it's huge. I know people really fuck with it. But damn, I gotta fucking.
So do you? I want to kind of rewind a little bit. When you took that step and you left the show, do you regret that?
Absolutely not, man.
That was a good choice for you.
Like in the house, I was debating it. And that's only because I was so like, just imagine you guys like, okay, imagine you meet someone for the first time you've never met, right? And you're like, okay, you guys have to go sit in a corner in a closed room and just get to know each other. So for the first hour or 2 hours, you're gonna like pop off the where you from, like how'd you grow up, blah, blah, blah. That's 2 hours. Then it's like 10 hours. Then it's 2 days. Like think about 55 days with nothing else to do. No phones, no writing, no reading, nothing. You're cut off from the world.
Oh, wow.
No phones. You're literally like, it's nothing. There's just you, the people in the house, and then the game you're playing. So
that's how it gets.
I don't want to get into the details of the game, but like there's competitions and stuff that, you know, and there's scheming, but like you get to know these people. And like I had a little showmance on the show. I don't even want to go into it, but like people often say like, how could you even feel for someone when you're with someone for so long, every day, every second, you grew, like I grew closer to those people, the guys and girls in that house, that I did some of my friends who I've known for years. I know, because I haven't had the that intimate like just that many distraction conversation.
Damn.
So,
completely different environment.
It's completely different environment, man.
That goes into adapting, right? That's so okay. So after the show, you did your world tour.
So I did my Canada tour, and then so I started getting a lot of commercials, and this is when influencer marketing was just starting to pop off.
I was gonna say 2016, 2017.
Yeah, exactly. So I started getting a lot of brand deals, and one of the deals I got was New Balance. Beautiful. And so New Balance I got onto, I had to shoot a commercial with them, and on set, I met this girl who was like, she was like the female lead in this commercial, right? And her and I just like, we became friends. We hit it off. She was funny. We were talking, whatever. And this girl, her and I just became friends. And she's actually, shout out Beverly. She's like a very big influencer now. She's like a fitness instructor. And so her boyfriend worked for a company called Inc. that I work for now, right? Beautiful. And so at the time I was vlogging. That's when like vlogging was like
it was
right?
YouTube was going crazy
YouTube
too.
was popping. It was all about vlogging. So I started picking up my vlog camera, and she's like, yo, like we should go to Veld Music Festival and do a vlog. And I'm like, yo, like how are we getting? She's like, well, my boyfriend works there. He could maybe get us tickets. And I'm like, okay, well, let's try.
And this is when you had this leverage still coming off of the
exactly. And I had a ton of fans. Like, you know, I was like going to take this YouTube thing seriously. And so, when I wanted to go to Vel, they were actually looking for a marketer to join Inc. And they wanted to really humanize the brand, whereas instead of like just flyers and stuff, they wanted someone to be able to pick up the phone and be like, yo, what up, guys? This weekend we have XYZ, Ramsey, blah, blah. And so for me, like there's a lot of marketers who are good behind a computer, but second you put a camera in their face,
different story.
Different story. And a lot of people, right? Not just marketers, everyone.
In general,
So for me, I'm super comfortable in front of the camera. And so it was just a natural fit, and I got hired to Inc. And then it just consumed all my time. So the YouTube thing just like stopped, and like I just got immersed into the marketing world of the entertainment industry. And then I met this crazy guy, Ernesto, and then here we are.
Here we are.
So so essentially that's what happened after the show. I essentially I landed a job with Inc. Entertainment. And for me, he's like the entrepreneur who started that company, Charles Caboth. He's a very smart guy.
Big shout out
Charles.
Changed the game.
It did change the game. And so for me, it was a massive opportunity to network and grow and meet a lot of people. And I know we've beat this dead horse down, but like really your network is your net worth. And I know that everyone's heard that saying before, but it truly is. And so I took that job on.
Of course. And so I think you were at a place where you're realizing what personal brand is at that point. You're 100%. Like, what is all this stuff? Everyone's giving me attention because my name and who I am and all this stuff. So how did you make sure to kind of continue doing that? And still providing value to Inc. Right? Because a lot of people, they'll get that job and then they're like, shit, now I don't have no time to do my own shit. And I've been watching you, and you have more brand fucking collaborations and sponsorships than anyone I know, man. And it's how did you manage to keep doing that?
Okay, so before I came onto this podcast, I asked myself, when someone finishes watching or listening to this podcast, what do I want them to feel or think about Ramsey? I'm always asking that question. When I finish a conversation that I'm having with you or with you, how do I want you guys feeling when you leave that conversation? So for me, I got introduced to the world of personal development when I was a young age because of my mom. Everyone that knows me knows that like I'm a mama's boy. Like I love my mom. She really opened my eyes so much, right? So I knew very early on that like my brand, what the feelings I was leaving people with after I was done talking with them, or like something like this where they listen to me, like that matters. And so even when I took the job on with Inc., I kept saying to myself, how can I continue to make sure that I want people to feel inspired to do the things that inspire them? That's what I want. I want someone to finish listening to me and be like, I can fucking do what I want. I'm going to follow I'm going to search for what I want to do, and I'm going to do it. Like that's the feeling I want someone to have when they're done talking with me. So I just, I kept it like at the front of my mind every time. I'm like, okay, Ramsey, don't forget, like you're doing your work, but afterwards, like you have to put time aside to build content, get deals. It's so funny. I got a call from a brand yesterday, and they want to do a deal with me. And I asked the girl at the end of the call, and I said, well, why did you choose me? How did you find my Instagram? She's like, you know what? Like, we use a tool to kind of find a bunch of Canadian influencers, and we got a bunch, but then like we basically put them on a whiteboard and select like which ones we want to work with. And even though we have other influencers with more engagement and bigger following than you, the one thing that stood out for you is like your authentic, your authentic brand image.
There's no better compliment than that.
And I was like, that's amazing, because like, obviously that's what I want to like do with my brand. I want to keep it 100. I want to keep it real. And so like, to me, like that's it doesn't matter what you guys are doing in life, you always have to remember that like the biggest brand that you're always marketing is your own brand.
Beautiful,
right? And I feel like
I love that.
I feel like I'm repeating stuff you guys have probably already said, but
I don't think anyone's put it that way yet.
No, that's huge.
It's like no matter what you do, whether you're an employee, I'm an employee, like I work for, but I also have other things I'm doing on the side, but like I'm always, even within my company, selling my brand, which is me, and so like that, even when I took the job with Inc., to answer your question, like I was always very conscious of, well, I have to still portray my brand, I have to still work on my brand, and it's a job. It is a job. Like people think like we always laugh. I mean, like other content creators, we laugh / influencers, and we're like, people think it's like a joke and we just take pictures, but like it takes work to like have to put together the concept and like
it's creativity,
take the pictures and the creativity,
go back
and all
forth
that.
with the brand. Is this
and
good?
The brand, exactly. So, that's kind of
okay. You mentioned something about your mom.
Yeah,
and we talk about a lot about mentors here.
100%.
I'm a mama's boy too. I know.
Same here.
That's cool that you mentioned she kind of helped you realize personal development early on.
100%.
So what kind of things, did you notice? Like, how did you, like, I know there's little things that click.
I would love to come back and do a whole episode on just the things my mom has taught me. Okay, just to give everyone who's watching a little quick speed up about my mom. My mom was born in a refugee camp, and at 15 years old, she was put in an arranged marriage with my dad, okay? So she didn't know. She found out one day coming home from school, everyone's clapping, and she's like, why are you guys clapping? Like, oh, you just got married. She's like, to who? It's my dad. Fast forward, at 16, she gets sent to Canada, and so she's now in high school, but she's a mother. It's a tradition. We're Middle Eastern, right? We're Palestinian, so she's got to cook for the kids and raise the kids and care for her husband, but she also is trying to do her thing. So she went from that, then fast forward to 37, my father and my mom split up. Okay. And she really just started with nothing, and then just me and my sister and my mom, to now she's in the real estate space. Beautiful. She's a real estate entrepreneur. She's a best-selling author. She's got a number 3 podcast on iTunes. Yeah. She's just a self-made, self-made woman, who's done it through primarily real estate. And now she focuses on empowering women to become financially secure and independent. Wow. So for me, I grew up and I learned so much from her, but I would say the biggest thing that I took away from my mom that's helping me today just to navigate COVID-19's crazy world that we're going through is that everything that we create in our lives are it's all in our hands. Everything that we want, it's in our hands, no matter what happens out in this world. COVID-19, no one can suspect that. No one knew that this was going to happen. And so despite the situations and the things that are going on in our world, you need to remember that you could still do whatever you want. You can get up every day and think about a new career or a new side hustle or don't let anything that's happening around of course it's going to throw curveballs. People, we don't know that they're going to shut down here in Toronto, everything now. We couldn't have expected that. But as much as I want to complain and everyone needs to vent, and we said this earlier, but at the same time, it's you got to pick your pants up and be okay, so now what? Yeah.
Well, it sounds like your mom was a forward thinker, and B, kind of taught you how to adapt, which 100%. Is something that we spoke about a little bit before we hopped on the mic. So I want to talk a little bit about that. Yeah. I think the whole part of adapting, right? Yeah. Where Inc. is at right now, because as a marketer, I think a lot of people forget that a marketer is a pivotal important piece to a business, right? Such an important piece. And sometimes it's overlooked. Yeah. A lot of people think, oh, well, if we're going to cut any budgets, marketing. And that's a huge mistake, right? So in your position for, a massive company, a very forward thinking company, I'm sure you're put in some positions where it's hey, think fast. We need the best out of you 100%. Right now. So maybe talk a little bit about your experience working there. Yep. And then what you guys have done now with, COVID-19 and the whole situation we're in.
I mean, so the whole marketing thing, you could be the best anything in the world, but if you don't have a brand that's communicating, that's out there doing good marketing, that's able to really connect with your audience, you don't mean shit. So, there's often times where I hear so many people say, I'm better than that guy. But why is that guy? It's like, because that guy's doing something about it. Like he's communicating, right? Like he's out there marketing. Yeah. So marketing is the single most important thing to a business, in my opinion. Yeah. Of course, everything is important.
I think
but
nowadays, like especially this year
nowadays.
Yeah.
So, but going back to the adaptability point, right? Everyone that's listening to this right now, like you need to think about this world we're going into. We're going to go into a world, I feel, where, you know, the days of like potential shutdowns and like, you know, closures in the outside world, like this is a thing I think is going to become normal. As crazy as that sounds, I feel like this could be the thing. So of course vaccines are going to come, and that's going to, but you don't know what, you know, that has to offer. So you have to be able to think right now, is what I'm doing going to be able to live online first and foremost? That's huge. What I think. You need to digitize your business. If you're not, you're going to lose. When Ink Entertainment, when the lockdown happened, Ink Entertainment thought, okay, well, our clubs can't open anymore. A lot of our music festivals and concerts got shut down, but we still wanted to keep live music alive. So what could we do? So our leadership team basically thought, okay, well, let's do what they used to do in the old days, and let's open a drive-in. And so we opened City View Drive-In.
It's great. I saw that. It's cool.
It's very like cool, it was one of the best summers, honestly, to see live music still live on, and all these artists that come on stage, and like we had like comedians, we had people like Division, we had rock bands, we had TIFF did their music movie festival there. So just that summer, and seeing everyone take the stage and say thank you, City View, you know, for allowing us to continue to shine and spread our love through music. It's like nothing is like more touching than that. So I mean, we adapted that way. We did what everyone did with the whole the restaurant industry, we covered the patios, but then now like they're shutting down patios, and it's a hit. Like don't get me wrong, like what the government is doing is like a bit ridiculous in my opinion. I know this is a hot topic right now. Everyone,
I can't believe you just said that.
I know, right? I know. But I'm keeping it real. Like I can keep it authentic. You know, I feel like it's crazy because like they're saying to the world that, you know, you guys got to go out there and invest in your patios because that's where you can social distance and outside. So people are putting money, their last bit of money into that, and then now they're just shutting it down. And again, like we don't have to get into details because I can already see the people, but like I just feel so bad that like it's like me telling you like you know what? In this room, you have to wear color green or else they're going to kick you out of the door. And then you're like, okay, cool. I'm going to put green on. And then green, you put on a green shirt. You're like, actually, you know what? Green is no good. Leave. You know, it's like, that doesn't make sense to me. So
craziness.
It's a lot of back and forth. But which like, I think is affecting the people who are trying to adapt too.
Exactly. The ones who are trying to adapt, right?
So, it's really killing small business. And just business in general. And I think that like, especially in a city like Toronto, that's what makes Toronto what it is.
So much personality here because we're a small business,
especially in hospitality. Like Toronto is known for that. Like when people all over the world come to Toronto, even famous people, NBA players, that, like
they love it.
They're like, shit, like these guys really got something going on, right? It's what makes our city alive. And so to take it away the way that they have, just with, you know, it's tough. It's tough to see. It's tough to see, and it's heartbreaking. And you know, a lot of people look at these bigger companies and huge entrepreneurs, someone like Charles and Ink, and like, I don't feel bad for them. Like then it's like, but it's listen, like, that, you know, that guy spent his whole life grinding, blood, sweat, and tears to build what he has, right? And just to take it away,
it's crazy. A lot of people will say things like 100%. That, though, right? They're like, oh, out of all people to complain, Charles is going to complain, right?
No. But everyone's affected. Period. Of course,
like it's not about what you currently have.
Exactly,
he's worked his ass to get there, right? And many people have. So to bash the guy because he has a nice car, let's say, or he lives in a penthouse, he fucking deserves that shit.
Exactly. No, I know. No, it's tough. But again, you know, I'm such and honestly, I get like into arguments with some people in my life because I'm such a positive thinker. They're like, you're always just so like happy. Like you're like, why are you like, but it's like really at the end of the day, and I get this from my mom who like came from nothing. It's like, so now what though? Like now what? You know what I mean? Like these are the cars we have. I understand it hurts. Like I honestly get it hurts. But now what? You know, like I honestly believe in life, and this is something my mom always teaches me and preaches to me, is like, it's okay to feel sad. It's okay. Like you need to feel it. You need to vent. You don't need to like do anything irrational, but it's about limiting that time that like you're down as short as possible so that you can pick back up and then say, okay, now what?
It's the bounce back,
I mean? Right? It's the bounce too short for that. Yeah, man.
So for me personally, like I've been able to narrow that down to just a few hours. Like when something shitty happens in my life, I get down. I do. I truly do. But it's like within a few hours, my mindset, I'm cleared. I'm like, okay, what can I do now? And I feel like anyone who's watching this that may have lost their job, and I lost my job too. Like when the first COVID lockdown, like this shit's real. Like people are out there, but think about, and this leads to my point, like think about like what can you do now that's going to be able to survive in this crazy type of economy, right? What could you do online? Like what kind of hustles can you do online? What kind of new skills can you learn that's going to live in the future in the new digital world? So I'm always like thinking that. And so I'm always trying to like keep my friends and my network and everyone kind of, you know, just like spirits high by thinking about like asking those questions. Okay, so like what are you doing now, you know?
So now that we're here, what are you doing?
So for me personally, I love real estate because of my mom, right? So for this shutdown now that's happening in Toronto, I'm gonna go deeper and like further into real estate. And you know, I was just saying to you guys, like I just got a piece of land recently that I want to learn how to develop and stuff like that. But if you don't even have that money and you're not there yet, right, it's like, well, maybe you can spend this extra time learning and reading and I know that that's such a cliche thing, but I'm telling you, I see so many kids in their mid-20s, they reach out to me on Instagram and stuff that say I want to learn, but like nobody does it, man. Like it's one thing to like say you want to do it, but it's another thing to
you
like
can even tell them the exact recipe, they still won't do it.
My mom has coached thousands of real estate investors in her life. She's taught she's spoken on stages to crowds of over 2,000 people across North America.
Your mom here, man.
Like
we should have had a second chair.
Next time
for real. And like I see, and she takes me. She doesn't go like we're like this. Like we don't go anywhere without each other. So I see all the people she talks to, man, and it's like I see firsthand like all the people she tries to help and literally gives them a step-by-step game plan, and some of them will do it and see success, and the others just will like sit back and not do anything. So many people buy books and let it sit on their shelves. They don't read them. And it's like, use this time to level up. Use this time to level up. What have you done to level up and become like almost like what's the word I'm looking for? Indisposable, or like so that in the future you can't help but need this person.
Exactly.
You guys, online marketers, everyone's there are still businesses thriving in this world now. New businesses coming in COVID. They're gonna need someone to help them with their marketing. Not everyone has the time to do it. That's why we're gonna come here, right? So that's how for me right now, like I'm really doubling down on the real estate game.
Cool.
I always have like small little, you know, hobbies and like
you're still doing the brand deal, right? You were saying like
I still always am doing my influencer stuff, of course.
Never goes away. Never goes away.
Well, that's like any brand watching this, just DM me, boy. Like DM me, boy. I'm always open to doing influencer brand. I honestly rejected a couple brands this year, and like these are brands like paying me like $1,000, $2,000 to do a post, right? But like I just feel like it's not a right fit. So I'll always try and keep it as 100 as possible. So like I'm still doing that on the side, and to anyone like influencer marketing, I know everyone's doing it, but it's you can still get into it. Like it's a real thing. Brands, I'm actually busier now with the influencer marketing because of these closures too. Brands need like new ways to reach these everyday kids and everyday people, and so work on your brand, and it takes time, man. Like
full-time job,
people, bro. like you gotta do shoots. You gotta get different like clothing, outfits, whatever you're into, like whatever you want your brand to be. For me, it's lifestyle. I love fashion. I love like just overall lifestyle stuff. So, I mean, I'm like these like podcast stuff, like first lockdown, I was trying to start a podcast with my mom, and then I got hired back to work, and then that just took up too much time.
You were trying to do something new.
I was like, I'm always trying to just keep myself relevant.
You know what I want to talk about though, and we kind of spoke about it before we got on the mics, how we were kind of just talking about the generation and what's happening right now and all that stuff, and we said how entrepreneurship has kind of become a fad, 100%. Right? But what I like about a lot of the stuff that you're saying, and I think the way that you act and that you move is, and what's important is, you have a lot of entrepreneurial traits,
100%.
but you're using them in a way where you can still build your personal brand, but you're also using them to climb up the ladder in a company that you love.
You're nailing it, bro. Like,
which is like so important. And everyone thinks, oh, just because I can do this, I can do that. Oh, I got to start my own business. And it's like, it's not always about that.
I'm honestly so happy you brought this up. This is a huge, and it's so funny. Mom, if you're watching this, I want you to listen closely. Me and my mom are always like she is an entrepreneur's entrepreneur. Yeah. Like, she had no choice but to work for herself because she couldn't get a job, you know? So she's always like, why are you working for someone? Like, what are you doing? And like, I'm always trying to show her a different side, which is like, there is so much. If you're in, this is my piece of advice, okay? And I learned this from Jack Ma, like the founder of Alibaba. Okay? In your 20s, that is your job in your 20s is to just be a freaking sponge, to just work for someone, learn from someone. Like, don't worry about doing your own thing. Just learn from people who have done what you're looking to do, and just be a fucking sponge. Soak it all in. And so for me, I kind of learned, like, without having listened to that, I kind of already felt like I wanted to do that. Then your 30s, that's all about, okay, now I got to start executing. Okay, now I got to start trying. And in your 20s, also try everything and anything. Make as many mistakes as you want, because you truly don't have much to lose.
And at that age,
just try it, because something could pick up and go, right?
Of course.
And then in your 30s, that's your chance now to take what you've learned and start trying to apply it. I feel so. I just turned 30. That's what I'm trying to do now, right? I've learned so much in my 20s. I'm now taking this real estate thing way more serious. I've always looked at the people that I admire, like my mom and the Grant Cardones and these people, and I'm like, well, what do all these people that I love own? And it's real estate predominantly. So I always wanted just to get into that, right?
Beautiful.
So for me, I'm like, okay, now I'm going to try and do it. You know, I've bought a home. I sold it recently. I made good money off of that. It wasn't a flip, but it was about a 3-year buy and sell period. Now I just bought a new piece of land. I'm going to try have my go at development. Of course, I have mentors that I've built, including my mom along the way, who can support me. I wouldn't do this without their guidance. But I'm using now my 30s to really deep dive into this stuff, and just like marketing in general. I'm like, you know, it's so funny actually. I don't know why this story comes because of marketing, but when the first lockdown hit in March, right? And I got laid off my job. It was the first time, like, again, for me, I had other sources of income, but like, it's weird to have felt to be laid off. Like, as someone who
even with everything going on, you're still like,
everything going on, it's like, I've always looked at myself as like a smart and like very entrepreneurial, even though I work for someone guy. And I'm like, wow, my job really just got taken. Like, this is, when I think laid off, shout out to like all the people like that are blue collars, but I feel like it's blue collar people that I think when I think laid off, like big factories have thousands of employees and they just can't, like, anyway. So I took my computer, my Mac, and I typed in Google and I put like luxurious Toronto condo, and I found this insane 2-story like penthouse in Toronto. I didn't even know where it was, and I put it in my background and I put the words on it, make every day count. And I said to myself, during the lockdown, I'm going to make every day count. Even though I got laid off, I'm not going to let a day waste, go to waste. So recently, I'm always networking. And in current times, through DMs, through like everything. If I see something that I love in someone's profile, I'll reach out, I'll DM, like, dude, I love what you're doing, blah, blah. I recently connected with this guy, and I was like, yo, like, love what you're doing. He's in the real estate game. And he had some sick videos, like very almost like, it's like Gary Vee type videos where it's like video with like captions and like, so I wanted to speak to him about marketing. I was like, yo, like, we can do more, blah, blah. And anyways, we kind of like hit it off a little bit. And then he's like, yo, why don't you like come to my place and we'll talk about marketing ideas, right? So I'm like, okay, cool. So he gives me his address, whatever, 180 like University. And so I pull up and it's a Shangri-La hotel. And I'm like, oh, okay, he lives in the Shangri-La. So he gives me his thing, and this guy lives in the penthouse. So he's like, just come up to 65th floor.
It's the same.
Like, Jesus Christ. Stop this. Bro, I'll tell you what's crazy, right? So I walk into his place for the first time, and this guy lives in the craziest penthouse. He's a self-made guy. He's my age. He's a real estate dude. Like, and I want to help him with marketing, right? And that's where like go back to marketing. But I was just so in awe at this place that I didn't even put one and one together. I was literally at awe, right? So just the other day, I was over at his place because we're going to shoot some videos for him and stuff like that. He invited me for dinner or whatever, and I pull out my laptop, right? God. And I look at this photo, and then I look up, and I'm like,
that's crazy.
I'm like, yo, bro, can you come here for a sec? And I told him the whole thing, and him and his wife were there. Bro, his condo, it was a render of the Shangri-La penthouse.
Jesus
And I'm
Christ.
sitting in this thing with this guy, and I'm like, it's wild that just like
manifestation,
like this manifestation,
crazy,
bro. It's crazy, and I think the reason I thought of this story is because you mentioned something about marketing. I can't recall, but like, you know, even though the whole like shut down and you have to adapt, like always. Like there's always ways to continue to thrive. And for me, like marketing is another thing I want to focus in addition to real estate, right? I'm like, okay, how can I start to help more people with their marketing? Yep. And so that's how the story came. This guy wanted help. I'm working with him now, but it's like, on a totally side related note, the whole manifestation thing, like anyone who's listening to this, like I'm telling you, man, like I know it sounds fugazi, but put your shit on paper, on your computer, read it every day, look at it every day, and do something. I DM this guy. This guy doesn't need me. You know, like I'm like, I tried to build that relationship. We like so many times he's like, dude, I can't meet. It's all good. I couldn't meet, blah, blah, blah. But like over time, and now we're like friends, right? And so like, he's someone I admire, I look up to. He's my age, but he's got like.
You need to put yourself out there and message him, though.
Exactly.
That's the thing. Well, I was gonna say, and that's putting yourself like in the ego, position, and that's you 100%. Putting any ego you had aside and saying, well, look at the position I'm in. I'm laid off, all right, but I still want to work in marketing. I still want to figure out how I can grow there. I got this penthouse
on my background.
I got this penthouse on my background. What the fuck am I saying here?
Exactly.
And you took that step to reach out. And like, 100%. Listen, he might have just never responded to you.
100%.
Looked at it and didn't even respond. I'm sure, and that happens to a lot of people. They reach out to someone that they hope to get a mentorship from, or whatever the case may be, someone they want to work for, and just get either left on red, and they don't even read it at all. But it's that like step of saying, you know what, like I got to put my ego aside, because at the end of the day, like this world is huge. Like I'm a nobody. Really. So it's like, let me just reach out, and you never know what's going to happen. And next thing you know, 100%. You have this fucking, dude,
you're sitting right in the background. You're sitting in your background.
I'm on my laptop today. I'll show you.
That's like a mini Drake. Drake, he had his house in Calabasas as his background for like ever, and then ends up buying it. Yeah. Which is just like,
I want to touch back on personal brand. Yeah. Because, how did you notice that your personal brand was so important when it came time to adapt? Mm-hmm. Because that's when we kind of noticed personal brand is when it's like personal brand is just building yourself up. It's not relying on any external services. So you're just you, right?
I feel like we're going into a world now where let's call it quote unquote expert world, where it's no longer like we are the businesses now. I feel like I feel like we're the world, like social media. It's like about following like personalities, the people that run their business. It's like people know Tesla, but people know Elon Musk.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like my mom has a brand called Females in Real Estate, Fire. It's the Fire brand, but people know Tahani. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like people know Inc. Entertainment, but they actually know Charles Caboose.
Yes.
So I feel like we're really like even more so than before going into a period where we are the brands. Yeah. Even though like, you know, you guys, you have Neighborhood. Yeah. But it's like, it's you guys, it's you two, right? So
that goes also back to adapting, because we know one day maybe Neighborhood won't be here. Maybe one day Inc. won't be here, but we will.
And you know what? And that's a great point. And that's a great point. So for me, like, I kind of just realized that you could, like, regardless of what I do, you're not going to take me away. Like, I am the brand, right? And so that's why I put so much emphasis on building my personal brand, because regardless of what I do, tomorrow I might turn around and open a cookie store. You know what I mean?
Well, just like you're getting into real estate now, I'm sure you're going to leverage your personal brand, 100%. Your online. Yeah. The fact that you're verified, 100%. You have followers, people follow you, people are influenced. These are things you're going to leverage even in another industry.
You know, it's like, wild. It's crazy. It's so, okay, I would say about 2 weeks ago, I changed my bio in my, or actually more than 2 weeks. It was probably like a month ago. I changed my bio on my Instagram page. Yeah. Just based on what I changed my bio, I've been getting so many opportunities.
What was the change?
It was, so basically, I think I had something silly in there. I honestly forget what it.
Like a code or something?
Like not even a code. I was just like, like, I don't know, like something cheesy, like something funny, right? I was just trying to be funny, but then I just changed it to like, now it's like I have the words real estate investing in there. I have, I'm a Google, Facebook ads marketing vet. I've been doing like, that's what I do, right? I specialize in advertising and like Facebook, Google advertising. And so I put, Instagram, Facebook ad specialist, real estate investing, and crypto lover. Wow. And then I put like DM to talk, or like DM to talk, like just chat. It's not even like DM my service. It's like DM just to network, right? Like, because I want to network. Yeah. And bro, I've been getting so many cool opportunities lately, and it's like, it goes back to just like talk about the things you love doing. Like, be mindful, like the same way that I said to you guys before, like, what do I want someone watching this to feel when they're done? I want them to feel inspired. I want them to feel like I can do this, right? Like, I put that background there. I ended up being in that condo. I want to do the same thing, right? And same thing with like anything else you're doing, whether it's small chats, talk about the things you love to talk about and want to get further into, because I feel like so many kids these days, or not even kids, like people, they're like, it's like the concept of side hustle. They keep the side hustle to the side without like showing people, right? And it's like, tell people what you are interested in, even if you suck or don't know anything about it. Like, put it out there.
Well, because then they see the process, right? The growth.
100%. That's the genuine part, right?
People are scared. People are scared to kind of, they're like, but no one's really going to care that I do this or care that I do that. But like, again, we're in a huge world, 7 billion people. You're telling me out of 7 billion people, no one's going to be interested in the same thing as you, or be interested in seeing your growth in a certain industry or whatever it is you're doing.
And that's cool too, because now look at you, for example, who probably started on Instagram in a way different position. Probably started Big Brother, this, that. Imagine a follower that's watched you from then. And now you're talking about real estate. Now you're talking about buying land. And they're still like, oh, but it's still Ramsey.
Exactly.
Right? But you're just showing what you're doing. That's all you're doing. And the more you show, the more they kind of trust you, because they're seeing your story, 100%. The good, the bad.
Well, you have the thing where you're like, if I run for a month and I put my Nike Run app, people think I'm a runner.
Well, it's true. What you're putting out there, people will start to believe that's what you are. If you want to be a chef, just show everyone the breakfast you're making every day. And I promise you, people are going to start saying, oh, yo, you cook a lot. Like, you're good at cooking now. Like, bro, you've been running for 2 weeks. Like, yo, you're a runner, bro. For real. Like, you know what I mean? So that's what we try to preach. We try to say, you can even manifest that in a way, right? Like, if you want to be really fit, put it on yourself. Put the pressure on yourself. Start showing everyone you're running every day.
100%.
Right? Like, and again, it comes down to person, because people are insecure about those things and stuff like that.
It's a good point, right? So like, I feel as if though, the more I've grown, so I've always known, like, again, the power of networking, but some people say, well, I'm just introverted. You know what I mean? And it's like, I feel you, but you got to learn to be a bit extroverted. And like, I don't take that as like an answer to a lot of my close friends. Like a lot of people, like, I'm like, this is a fundamental skill. You need to, I'm not talking about being the life of the party and like getting the party going. Those, whatever, we'll leave it to the Ernestos, the Ramseys. But you need to be able to like talk, and you need to be able to like, to just be a little bit more extroverted in situations, because at some point, like, those that are networking and talking are just going to get further ahead, because people do business with people they love. That's it. No matter what, like, of course you need your you need to have a good product and service, but I want to rather work with someone that I enjoy working with, you know? So,
but you could be sitting across from somebody who could change your life, and because you're too scared to say any word to them,
100%.
Like, I think
that is an excuse though, because that introvert thing. Okay, here's
huge
why.
Excuse,
because
huge excuse.
People over time, everyone's had to learn things, to do things to make their life more efficient. That's just how it's 100%. Been. How come we drive cars? How come we were forced to learn to drive cars? Because we knew it was faster at getting somewhere. Same thing with online. Right. And I think people are making those excuses, right? Because they're on the phone already. It's not like they're like, oh, I'm never on this thing. They're on it. Right?
I'm always on my phone too, but like, just try to minimize the amount of, and it's hard, and I know, but like, try to minimize the time you're like following and being consumed by what other people are doing, and focus just on what you want to do. The sad reality is a lot of people live vicariously through other people,
and Instagram is like a huge
Instagram
platform
is that. It's a deep dark hole where people feel like I watch your Nike runs, and I felt like I just did a 5K run, bro. I'm good. I'm good for the day. I watched Ernesto do the whole vlog. He Instagrammed the whole thing.
I got you, bro.
So it's like, I have to shut this off and be like, no, I gotta do what I want to do. I always I'm a heavy believer in like writing stuff down. So I write stuff on my notes. I have my like deep dark secrets in here. Beautiful. I lock them. Like I lock.
Okay, send them to me later, bro.
Yeah, exactly. I'll send them. But like, I always, you know, keep the things I want to accomplish in this world on my phone. I keep it and I try and read it and write in it all the time. During COVID, I started journaling just to like express and look back. And I find that stuff to be like super helpful. And a lot of the things that even on the way here today when I was coming, I was like looking through past notes. And one of the ones I touched upon was like just, I know a lot of people are hurting these days, just like financially, like jokes aside, right? Like it's crazy. Like there's just not as many jobs and like the industry, the hospitality industry. And it's like, I think so much about like, if I could advise my younger cousins, I have a lot of younger cousins. We have a big family. All Middle Easterns probably have big families, but I have 64 first cousins. Whoa. Like first Holy cousins. Fuck. I'm talking my mom's, dad's, brothers, sisters, kids, 64 of them, right? So we, a lot of my
I'm still like tripping.
I know, right?
Like, you should have been a promoter.
I think we have nine on each side, 9 or 10 aunts and uncles on my mom. My mom has 9 brothers and sisters, and my dad has the same thing. And everyone. My mom has 2 kids. My mom is super career focused. And she only has 2, and they were like, why'd you have 2? You know, like 2, like
I had 9.
Garbage, like 2. But I always say to myself, you know, I love these kids, and I always say like, if I can advise them on stuff, what I like tell them, and it's like, I mentioned this to you earlier, is like anyone out there who's like hurting financially right now, like think about adjusting your lifestyle and about your living, you know, and I'm as much as like we come from the entertainment world and we see promoters like and they're, you know, their fancy clothes, but even not that, like even just like simple stuff, like it's so much easier to save money, because that's a lot of things that I hear when I speak to the youth. I feel like I just don't have money, right? I just don't have money. And it's like, it's because you're spending it on the wrong things, right? You're going to make like glorifying the entrepreneurs and glorifying trading and all this like stuff. I was doing the math, right? If you invest $50,000 and you make 7% on that a year, I think that's like
it's 14.
It's 3,500. 30, just under 35.
Okay.
Yeah, 35. Yeah, 35. Who has like a lot of people don't have 50,000, right? And especially when I'm speaking to the youth, right? But if you just save $300 a month, that's 3,600.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's like just saying this stuff to my cousins, and I speak to them. They're like, "Oh, really? Oh, okay." But we see stuff like the Gary V's of the world, who are, I love Gary V. Don't get it twisted, but like he makes it like want to be cool to say I'm an entrepreneur. And we're coming back to what you originally started, which I love that you brought this up. It's like it's also cool to learn and to do things without being like the cool guy on Instagram. Like I'm making moves in the background that people don't have an idea about, but like at the end of the day, I'm making them for me. Like, you know what I mean? And it's, you don't have to be this entrepreneur who lives this lifestyle. Like don't get it twisted. It pays to be able to work for yourself and to be able to work on your own hours. And like I advocate that to the fullest. Yeah. But if you are working for someone, it's not a bad thing as long as you're learning from someone.
Well, I think you nailed it. You said something really important there, and I think this is even outside of business. Like you're making the moves in the background and you're doing them for yourself first, right? And I think that's where people get caught up, because it's all about like, hey, I want to be better than this guy on Instagram. I want to be better than this girl on Instagram. I want to have this, have that. Ultimately, whether it's being an entrepreneur, whether it's working for somebody, whether it's doing anything, yoga, whatever, like literally doing anything, as long as you're doing it for yourself, 100%. That's what matters first, even outside of a business perspective, 100%. Right?
I also like that you said life learning too, because whether you are an employer or entrepreneur, you should always be learning, right? And I think that's another thing when people start to work for someone else. It's like, okay, well, what else do I have to possibly learn? I'm working.
I get into like, people hate on like not hate, but like my friends and I know zero about pop culture. Yeah. I honestly like movies, like shows.
I know nothing. I know
nothing, man. People are saying like famous names, and I'm like, who? And I honestly, man, I never watch like TV or movies, and. This, I don't like anyone watching this. This is me, okay? I'm speaking for myself.
Exactly. I've been on TV. I just don't watch it.
I experienced it because I wanted to have a good time, but I don't want to waste my time. I don't know. But either way, if you find love and enjoyment out of it, do you know? But I'm a big believer in like, if it's not moving me forward, I honestly just can't tolerate it. Like I love watching documentaries where I'm learning something. I still watch stuff. I love watching sports. Of course, everyone. But like, I do not watch shows, man. I do not watch movies. And like, people are like, oh, you're so boring. Like, you always just want to like learn or like do. But like, I honestly, and it's maybe it's a gift that's a curse, but like, I get it from my mom. And it's like, I'm just like, I feel like I'm man. We're all gonna die, bro.
Yeah, I know.
No, like,
I told this guy, like, maybe last week this guy walked in, I'm like, bro, we're gonna die. Eh? So we gotta work. Get to work. Get to work.
One thing, like, you are going to die. Take that in, man. Like, I know we're laughing, but like, this life is gonna go. I'm laughing because
people forget.
Bro.
People forget.
Like, like, you have one go at it. Have fun with it. You know, make the most of it. If I guess what I'm trying to say is, if you enjoy watching Netflix and movies and you're happy. Then do you. But if you're watching that and then complaining that you don't have money or that you're not happy, that's when I'm going to say, well, what are you doing, right? Why are you putting that shit in your head?
Exactly.
And I find a lot of people out there are glorifying entrepreneurs. They want to become something out of themselves. But
everyone wants to do it until it's time to do it,
and then it's time to do it. And it's like, so you want to be here, but you're watching this, and it's not. So that's where I get at people. But like, don't get me wrong. If you're happy with what you do, man, and like, you know, you work at you do a job that you're happy with and it pays like minimum wage, and you go home and you're watching movies and you're just, that's your life, then that's amazing. Then you're not complaining. Like, that's the goal. That's the goal. As long as you're happy, right? For me, like, I'm happiest when I'm moving ahead and I'm building and I'm acquiring. Like, for me in my life, in my 30s, like, it's about building my empire. And that's what I'm going to do. And that's what I love to do. So if I watch other shit and then I complain to my network, you're only to blame. And then it's like, it's me, right?
So I want to go back to you're going to die, because I think that's important. I watched a video the other day where it was like, okay, 365 days in a year. Like, if you live to 80, which is like, I think pretty lucky, like, it's a pretty long life.
At this point,
That's 29,000 days.
Holy shit. Don't say that, bro.
Like, when you put it into perspective like that, you're like,
I'm almost shook now.
You wake up, you're like, wait a minute, what?
This guy's laughing. This guy's laughing.
Someone actually said something the other day too. I think it was online or something like that. Crazy. But it was like the kind of things you say when you're like, okay, how much time do I have left with my grandparents, for example? And people would say, oh, I'll have 10 years. Okay, but then think of it this way. How about if you see your grandparents 2 times a year? 20 times left you got.
Dude, now what? I know this is
things like that,
I know people could be watching this like, man, these guys are going deep. Bro, this is real life,
man. It's real shit,
this is real shit. And that's why, like, I say, like, we have limited time, man. Do, like, just fucking do it, bro.
You know, a lot of people are actually scared to have these types of conversations. I see it as needed conversations because it's just like, it's real. It's real life. And that's where people got to, like, sometimes step out of your phone for a second and like look around and say, hey, I'm living a fucking real life here. Like, this isn't a game, right?
No,
I can't,
for sure.
It's not, you don't die and fucking revive back again. Like, it's ain't Call of Duty. You know what I mean? Like,
my friends always laugh and like, you guys know Tony Robbins? Of course. Like, my friends like, man, like, I have a lot of friends that trust me, and they know that, like, I don't judge, man. Like, people can come to me and be themselves, and that's like the highest form of compliment. I have a lot of people that trust me and like they open up to me and stuff like that, and it's because like they know that I'm willing to go deep. And I gotta really shout out my mom and my sister for like women are so good at like tapping into their emotions. And I was raised by a woman, so for me, like, I'm comfortable, like I find it comfortable to cry. You know, there's a lot of guys don't, but I do, right? So these conversations are tough to have, but they're important to have. And like, I want people that are listening to this to really like listen to our words carefully, man. Like you are here limited time, like you're gonna die. So like that thing that you've been putting off, just try it. You know, that person you want to meet, reach out. You know, just know what you want to do in this life, man. Like, have your goals, have your, you know, your plans, and go after it. And it's going to change. There's going to be like every decade okay, right now COVID hit. No one we kind of expected it when we were here in China had it. And then like, but we didn't know, right? Decade ago, then there was 2008. Like there was the housing collapse, right? A decade before that, there was like 9/11. There's always going to be something. Like don't, I hear a lot of people say, I can't wait when like COVID is done.
That's crazy. I laugh at that one.
And depending on who's telling it to me, I either just like whatever, like I don't get it. But if I respect you, I'm gonna say like, yo, like stop, like dude, like you're in it. Like this is it, right bro. Now. This is life. Like wake up. It's not like I just want things to go back to normal. Like, dude, like
it's already been almost a year. Like you can't keep waiting.
How can you thrive in this economy? There's okay, that guy that lives in that penthouse, his younger brother started a you know those door handle claws? Have you guys seen those things?
They're called handle, the little black ones.
Little ones. He started one of those things and he's crushing it right now. You know, amazing. Like there are so many new, when you look back, my mom just did a webinar the other day and I was helping her put together and we were talking about businesses that came out of the 2008 recession. Airbnb, Uber, Square. Like we're talking billion-dollar companies.
Some of the big boys in the world.
Like this, right? A decade from now, we're going to look back at 2020 and we're going to say, how the hell did this company become a billion-dollar company? It's because they strapped up. They said, this is the world we live in now. And what am I going to do to make it better? While everyone was waiting for it to be over. I can't wait for real life to come back. Like,
it's crazy, man.
Mourn. You know, get your frustrations out, people. Like, but
we've had enough time.
Wait around.
I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, we've had lots of
time, bro. Everyone's had more time than they've ever had to be by themselves and think about things.
Exactly. We've had so much time. No excuse.
Man, it's almost been a year.
It's
like it's almost
actually
been,
COVID's birthday was
you see that?
COVID's birthday was
exactly
November
right.
17th.
Like technically it's been more than a year, but since it's affected us, like almost a year.
It is. Yeah, we're getting close.
Imagine that you said like I can't wait for this to be over. I'm just gonna chill until then.
The sad thing though, bro, that this is like honestly, man. Like I look at myself and I obviously still have like high goals I want to achieve personally and stuff. But like, I just feel like just your mindset shifting to like be able to think of these few things puts you ahead of so many people, man. Like if you're someone that loves to like excel and is very business savvy and wants to always do better and is into personal development, then you'll probably you'll probably resonate to what I'm going to say is like simple mind shifts like this, man, put you ahead of so many others.
Of course.
You know what I mean? And like, I was, again, going back to my mom, like, I was so blessed, bro, that I had a figure in my life that like showed me the importance of these things, bro. I read Think and Grow Rich like almost 5 times before I turned 21. Like I was like, I didn't know, like a lot of people are like just picking up these books now and reading them, and like that's fine, man. Like we know, like there's a lot of rich kids that I know that have families that are wealthy. That wasn't like their choosing. They just like to each their own, right? But man, like just these lessons that we're talking about, they're so simple that they're so easy to like just not even think about. Things that are easy to do are also easy not to do.
Exactly.
That's huge.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. That's huge.
And so like when someone talks about these things, it's like, well, I've heard that. And so they dismiss it. But it's like those are the things.
But you can tell when you're talking to someone where their mind is.
Yes.
You can 100%. Tell like a 10-minute conversation, you'll be like, okay, this person's kind of on the same page, or you'll know that this person is not in that mindset at all, right? Which is crazy. But I think COVID, in my perspective and in my opinion, the more people that I've talked to now at this point, I feel like a lot of people have grown in that personal development sector in their life, or they're reading more, or now they started meditating, now they fucking drink tea, whatever it is. Like they're doing something that they're working on their mindset a lot more.
I was talking to someone like a few months ago, and I was like, so like what lessons did you get out of the first lockdown? And they're like, well, what do you mean? And I'm like, well, what did you take away? Yeah. Like, what did you grow? Yeah. And they're like, not everything's about like growth, and you don't have. And I'm just like in my head, I didn't even rebuttal because I know I'm just not talking the same language. Like I see a lot of people online, and that's why I kind of like titty-totter around this subject. Some people are like, it's okay to not be okay, which it is, and it's okay to like not have to learn. But at the same time, bro, like for me, I'm like, if you're letting times like this shut down happen right now just go to waste, I feel personally like you're just wasting your life, bro. Like me too. For me, and people are so it boggles my mind how fast people forget. And if you're watching this, just like fucking take this to heart. So for me, the biggest things that I learned from the lockdown is how important my family are, because everyone when the first lockdown happened went where? To their family. To everyone.
Spend more time than ever with their family.
More than their family. When the lockdown happened and I lost my job, I said, how long can I live without making income or without my primary income? I still have side incomes and stuff like that. But learning to have that 3 to 6 month cash reserve was fucking like eye-opening for me, bro. All through COVID, like when things started coming back to normal, I just started seeing so many people like going back to, they wanted to go back to how things were without just swallowing the lessons that we had just learned. I'm like, bro, you just learned that things can be taken away like this. And you're already, I see people back at outdoor dining. I get you want to go out and have fun, but it's like, now is the time to buckle down and be like, let me save an extra 2 here, an extra 4 here for times like what is about to happen coming up now with the shutdown. It's like, you know, but people just forget so quick. And so when we talk about these slight little shifts that make the difference between great and very like top 1%, it's these small things. It's the ability to hang on lessons and do the simple things. If you can just do simple things consistently, you're already ahead of so many people, bro. I have cash reserves now, like just in case. And like it's obviously happened now. Like, you know, Inc., we're just doing delivery and takeout because that's all we can do now with the law. And who knows how long this is going to go, right? I honestly, and we didn't even talk about this before, but I think the 28 days are going to happen. It's going to bring us to the end of the year. And I wouldn't be surprised if the government says, you know what, let's just open back up either in the new year or even maybe in like February. Like I'm planning for 60 days. Honestly.
There's no way that.
And what do you think? Do you think another lockdown after that though?
I do. I do believe we're going to go into, I believe we're going to go into a lockdown like March again. There's no way. And this is back to the argument that we talked about before with the restaurants and why we feel bad for the hospitality. The restaurants did not, like very little of the breakouts were coming from the restaurants, which is why the restaurant industry is frustrated that we're being penalized because these numbers are going up whether you had restaurants open or closed. Like we're not the reasons for the lockdown. Like there's other areas that are causing them to happen and that's still going to go up regardless. So I personally believe we can expect another shutdown. Whether I'm right or wrong, whatever, but that's how I'm operating. We'll play this back. Put it on the record.
For real, man.
Put it on the record. So I'm just, I'm trying to make sure like, okay, how can I make sure that sources of income are still relevant to me when the lockdown? Influencer marketing, there are businesses out there that will always are essential businesses. They need to market their goods and services. They need help. So that's something I'm looking at, right? Real estate, that's something that sadly there's going to be a lot of opportunities. You know, I know maybe if you don't if you don't have money to buy real estate right now, that's fine. Learn about it. Learn how to, utilize, like investors wait for times like these, man. They wait for like they're cash heavy for times like these. And I know it's like, it's almost, I feel weird talking about it because it's sad because part of the reason why investors wait for times like these is because opportunities are coming because people can't even afford.
They prey on these situations.
It's like,
but there's also no reason you can't put yourself in that same situation.
Exactly. And that's just
future too.
To be someone to
my
capitalize.
Mom literally started from nothing, man. And like she got to where she is today. And I'm so blessed that like I had her in my life to like help me see these things. And so I don't care who you are, where you're at when you're watching this right now, what your financial situation is, like you can change your life. There's so many living proofs of people out there, but you got to stop. For me, the day you become an adult is the day you take 100% responsibility for your life.
There you go.
Regardless. Like no more the government did it, I can't do this. No more, I was born into a poor family. No more, I grew up in this situation and I'm going to take responsibility for where I'm at now and I'm going to get myself out. No more, the government fucked me. No, I'm going to learn how to thrive in this new world economy, in this new COVID economy.
No excuses, man.
Take 100% accountability. If you're always looking to blame someone else, you'll never get ahead, man. I've seen it.
Look,
I love that, bro.
I have holy fuck. I'm just
getting mad inspired right now,
I'm gonna have to go back, write all that down. No, listen. Obviously, we are the MBH podcast. Money Buys Happiness. A lot of this conversation has just been talking about income in general. So, a question that we ask everybody is: Money Buys Happiness. When you hear that, what do you think?
That's a great question. Money buys happiness. What do you think? Well, let me just think about this so I can give like a good response. Of course. My initial thoughts are that money can do things to make you happy, but it can't buy you happiness. That's the short answer, I think. And I've been fortunate enough in my life to know many people with money and see those people that aren't happy at all. I've seen, I know people that live in like multi-million-dollar penthouses, not this guy I was talking about, but who are on antidepressants. Like I have seen some of my mom's friends and colleagues who just don't have other things in their lives. Like, you know, I would say that don't wait to get money to be happy. Learn to be happy while getting money.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Damn.
There we go.
We haven't heard that one before. We haven't heard that one. That's a new one for us.
Yeah.
So
I like that.
To me, like, like money could definitely do like, you know, right now, like, let's go get a PJ or let's go to live for the weekend.
We're gonna be happy. We're gonna be pretty happy.
You know, but like, when I think happiness, bro, like I think like holistic. Like for me, I think at the end of our lives, and this is what COVID did. It reminded us what really it means to be like to really what matters. You know, for me, it's my family. It's my mom. It's my sister. It's those loved ones around me. My father. And so if I'm with those people and those people are happy and they're healthy, then for me, like that's first and foremost my happiness. You know what I mean? And then from there, it'll grow. Like, of course, I have goals I want to achieve, and like they're like income goals and wealth, net worth goals and stuff like that, and that stuff. But if you're waiting for something, and never mind just money, like if you're waiting for something to be happy, you're just going to be miserable your whole life, man. Because there's always going to be someone who's richer and someone who's more powerful and someone who has more cars, is more cool and more cars. Learn to be happy with what you have and go after the money.
No, it's a good answer, man. We've never had that one, so I'm impressed. I'm very impressed with that answer.
That's a very good question, by the way.
Well, you know what it is. The common answer we get usually in different ways is like money can be a tool for happiness. Like it can help you achieve it depending on what you do with it. Because if, for example, if your goal is to always get rich or make money to whatever extent,
that's not a good goal.
No, but to give it back to your family.
Okay.
You see what I mean? Now you're like, okay, well, maybe that money can give you that happiness, because again, and that's where it becomes what you do with it. It's what you do with it.
And a lot of people also said it depends who has it.
That as well, It
depends who has the money. You can give it to a dickhead, he's going to be a dickhead with 10 mil. You can give it to a smart guy, he'll be smart with 10 mil, right?
For sure.
That's the question we ask everyone. We have that title just because it's a convo starter.
It's a great convo starter. I just feel like, money doesn't, like money in the long run will never make you happy. I feel like happy people can make a lot of money. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I look at someone like Kevin Hart. Like, you know what I mean? Something tells me if Kevin Hart didn't have the fame and like the wealth that he has, he would still be a funny ass guy.
Same guy.
He's a happy guy. He just, oddly enough, this is funny. I bet you guys haven't had this answer. I feel like the more you realize that you need to, one second, let me just formulate my thoughts here. If you were aligned with being happy before you get money, I feel like you'll start to get money. As opposed to if you're doing stuff to get money for happiness, then you'll actually never be happy.
Exactly.
Because, for example, my mom, when she didn't have anything, she loved real estate. She just loved it. And when you do what you love,
even before she was making money from
money becomes a byproduct of it, because it's just so much more seamless for you.
Of course.
You know what I mean? And Kevin Hart made me think of that too. Like, just as we're talking about it, it's like, he just loved making people laugh. He loved stand-up comedy. He found a way to be happy before the money came. And as a result of being happy before the money came, the money came.
And it came in abundance.
And in abundance.
And it came in abundance.
No,
man, I really appreciate that answer.
Do what you love, the money will come.
Do what you love, the money will come. Because it's...
I really appreciate that answer. I think you formulated that really well, and we've never had that answer before, which is like very impressive. We've had a lot of people on here, so I'm like really impressed with that. So listen,
any last words for anyone watching?
Yeah, exactly.
Man,
last piece of advice for the times or anything in general.
I mean,
you give a lot of advice.
We listen to the podcast again. You know, shout out you guys for doing something to bring different perspectives here. But if you're watching this, like, I know times are tough right now. Just find that group of people that you trust, that you love, that family, that network. It's always nice to have them close to you, to keep you uplifted. Try and surround yourself with people that keep you happy, and always just think, just take responsibility, man. It's shitty, it's weird times, but sadly, so many people are talking about the businesses that are shutting down, and it's true, they are. But I could tell you so many people that just started new businesses. My boy opened up a sanitizing factory. He's made life-changing money. This other kid, opened up the cloth thing. People are making masks that are blowing up, and they're not people that are they're just starting. People are just you have your computer, you have the internet, So man, just make the most of the situation. It's we're all in it together, and if you want to reach out to me on Instagram, the official Ramsey.
Yeah, where can we find you?
When I got off of the Big Brother house, there was a lot of fake accounts. Yeah. So back then you couldn't apply for verification. Yeah. Now apparently you can, right? Yeah. So I had to change my Instagram name to the official Ramsey because there was a lot of fake Ramseys. Yeah. And then one day I woke up and I got verified. I was like, yo, let's go. I didn't know. Everyone, I guess so many DMs from people that you wouldn't even imagine asking me, people that we know that are like, yo, can you get me verified? It's like, bro, I have no idea how to get anyone verified. I just got
Big Brother, man.
I literally just got verified. I woke up and I just got verified. And so, the official Ramsey on Instagram. That's where connect, reach out to me. Doesn't matter where you're at, everything. And man.
Yeah,
beautiful.
Listen,
Rams, thanks for coming, bro.
Yeah, bro, appreciate you coming on and spitting some fucking facts for the people.
Of course, it's been best of luck with everything too.
Yes,
for real estate.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Big shout out to your mom because clearly she's a huge mentor of yours.
We have to get her on here, to be honest.
You know what we should do? And I don't know if we could actually set this up, but we should really try, because I know you guys say I just went. By the way, I went on a whole Mama's Boy rant. I don't know if you guys recently saw that, but a lot of people razz me for being a mama's boy, and I just respond to them and I say, if you had the mom that I had, you'd be a mama's boy too. You just don't, you know. And
I'm gonna start using that.
And so it's funny. LeBron James always uses mama's boy too, right? Because shout out his mom. But we should do a mom's podcast, bro.
That'd be huge.
I have podcast mics.
I was gonna say, the fucking mics.
I have 3 more mics. Like this. I'll bring them. We bring all of our moms.
But my mom would be down.
Us three will sit on one side. Our moms will sit on this side. And honestly, we should actually do it. I honestly feel like that episode would blow.
100%.
That would blow up. Let's do it.
Okay,
Season 3, episode 1.
There we go.
Boom.
All right, you heard it here first. Listen, pleasure, man. We'll have you back again.
Peace, guys.
Peace.